Before we get started, I'm on Cameo. It's that thing where celebrities and YouTubers and stuff can record personal messages for you. Birthdays, holidays, pep talks, general greetings. I can do them. I will say words at you or a loved one. If you're interested, just head to cameo.com/arlostuff. Yesterday. Hello, my friends. What is up? How are you? So, Peach game. Nintendo gave us a nice, juicy new trailer for the game at the latest Nintendo Direct, which still really surprised me. They gave us so little at the previous Nintendo Direct, I assumed they must have been pretty early on in development, but for whatever reason, here we go. We got like the full thing. We even got a title. Princess Peach Showtime. Good, sharp, snappy, to the point, makes sense. I like it. And whereas the previous trailer barely scratched the surface, it was more of a teaser than anything, just kind of introduced the idea, the basic premise. This one gave us the whole thing, gave us actual gameplay, gave us the concepts that we're really gonna be working with, the mechanics. But before we get into that, I just want to say how excited I am that this game exists. I've been wanting Peach to get another crack at having her own game for a really long time. In one of my yearly predictions videos, I predicted that the sequel to Super Mario Odyssey would be Super Peach Odyssey. I think it's a fun idea. She needs to be utilized. Her and Zelda, like I'm always wishing that they will get some games. And it's not even that I like particularly love Peach as a character. I don't have like a strong connection with her. It's just more that I always want Nintendo to dig a little deeper, you know, with their IPs, utilize more characters from their famous series. Mario gets so many games, and these games are so popular, but everybody knows these other characters as well. Everybody knows Princess Peach. The Mario movie, they knew what was up. They knew that Peach had to have a really big part to play because Peach has the potential to be really cool. Like, I've been meaning to make videos on this subject. I'm a little late for the Peach one now, but like, I don't know. It's just a thing that I think would be really neat, and I'm really, really excited that she's finally getting a game. She had one single game before on the DS 100,000 years ago, and I guess Nintendo decided the Switch was finally the time to give her another shot. I mean, Luigi's had his own games for a long time now, you know? Luigi's Mansion, it's a whole entire series. Why would Luigi get his own series, but Peach doesn't get hers? You know what I'm saying. Expand the Mario canon. Also, it goes without saying, but Wario and Waluigi, where is their game? But that is definitely an actual topic for another video, for another day, that will happen right now, today. We're talking about Peach. And this game, right here, it looks pretty darn cool, I must say. If you want to sum up the whole thing, basically Peach is invited to a stage performance, and there is a villain, suddenly. New Mario villain? You kidding me? New Mario villain? That's another thing I'm always hoping to see. It's such a rare occurrence, and when it does, it is so something to be celebrated. This villain seems to be some sort of witch or sorceress. The name is Wicked Grape. It's an interesting name for a villain, I will say. It's not one that I would pick, but visually, very cool, just like with the, and you know, it very theatrical, very much ties in with the theme. Yeah, kind of a witch, but kind of a, you know, got a mask on, a little bit of like a jester theme. It's a very, it fits perfectly. So naturally, the different worlds that you visit in this game are different stage plays, different productions, each one in a different genre, which again, very, very thematic, makes a lot of sense, very cute. You've got the swashbuckling sword fighter play, you've got one where she's a detective, you've got one where she's basically a chef and there's giant cakes and stuff. And what was revealed in this trailer was that in each one, Peach gets a new costume which fits with the theme and gives her a different moveset is what it looks like. This is definitely a fun idea because it basically means that like each chapter of the game might have very different gameplay. Like, you know, I don't know if she's gonna have like some moves built in that are kind of consistent throughout, or if it really is just going to be like a totally new set of moves and new gameplay each time. I don't know. I don't know what similarities there might be between chapters. Whatever the case, though, whatever ends up happening, she looks so good in those costumes. She pulls them off so well. Just, you know, Peach has been around for so long and she's almost always wearing the same costume. And it's just fun to see her in all these different costumes. I like games where Peach can actually get out there and run and jump and fight and stuff. So I particularly like the musketeer costume or whatever it's called. It's just a really cute idea and it gives the game a lot of creative potential. And actually that right there is another reason I'm very excited for this game. I really, really love games games, especially Nintendo games, that are just bursting with creativity, just visual flair. Games that play with their theming to, like, the fullest potential, and where it feels like every step of the way there's just some cute little creative thing that has been handcrafted to delight the player. From recent memory on the Switch, the two games that come to mind are Kirby and the Forgotten Land and Yoshi's Crafted World. And I know a lot of people aren't like huge fans of Crafted World, they like Woolly World better. I haven't played Woolly World. But to me, that game and Kirby and the Forgotten Land, they just have so much to offer the player visually and creatively. They're not super long games, and yet there's so much variety in what you see and interact with. There are so many different set pieces that are like one and done. Like, it's really cool, and then you see it, and then it's behind you, and like that's it. And the whole entire game is just filled with so many cute little bits and gags. It just feels like a tremendous amount of effort went into the game and how it looks and how it feels. And it feels more like a kind of a condensed art project because of that. The games do have good gameplay on top of that, but like you can kind of separate that and just look at the artistry of it and kind of just appreciate it on that level. And Princess Peach Showtime is giving me the same vibes. I could see this being like not the longest game in the world, not a game with like super complicated mechanics or anything, but visually and creatively, it just kind of seems like another one of those games where it's all in the charm, all in the animation, all in just the, and especially with this one being set on like stage plays, it's all about the production, the big, just like the wow factor, the fun Showtime kind of spectacle. It looks like it's gonna be one of those games that's just a joy to just sit down and play. You know, you sit down, you play it, and you just have a good time the whole time. That's kind of what I'm expecting from this. However, I must admit, I am not without my worries, especially after seeing this most recent trailer. The recent trailer, it showed us a lot of really cool stuff, but yeah, I do find myself just a little tiny bit scared of how the game might end up being. I will start this by saying there is nothing necessarily wrong with simple gameplay, you know, with very approachable, very accessible gameplay, you know, gameplay that's really good for little kids or whatever. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. But I do feel that Nintendo is at their absolute best. They make the absolute best family games when anyone can enjoy them. You know, take Super Mario Odyssey. I love Super Mario Odyssey. My little nephews love Super Mario Odyssey. It's one of the first games that either of them ever played because it's a really good starting point, as well as something that can be deeper and fun for an older person as well. It works for everyone. And just based on what we've seen of the gameplay in Peach Showtime, I'm worried that the gameplay might be a little bit too simple, and I really don't know. I really don't know for sure. We're really basing this on just a few clips, but I'm a little bit worried that each section, each play, each genre, each costume or whatever, like if it ends up boiling down to just a couple little things you can do, a couple little ways you can interact, and all you're really doing is just using those moves, I don't know, I really can't get too deep into it. It just feels like it might be simple, and if it's too simple, then it's gonna be a lot harder to enjoy. I get it, I get this is funny. I'm a 30-something-year-old man. I'm not the target for this game, and I know it's funny to say I'm worried that it's gonna be too simple for me. I know it's funny. If it's aimed at kids or whatever, that's cool, but again, I'm just saying, you can have the best of both worlds if you play your cards right. And if it ends up being a little bit too simple, it is gonna be a lot less fun, and I know I definitely am still gonna play it, and I'm probably still gonna really enjoy it just because of the spectacle and just it's Peach and seeing all this really fun stuff. It's just that I hope it's also fun to play, and it's not just for me. It's really not just for me. I'm also looking at this from the perspective of what is going to appeal to the most people, and that's a really big mistake that a lot of companies make with a lot of different games or shows, or I'd say mainly games. If you make a game that is aimed at little kids, you're mostly just gonna get little kids, and other people, adults, they're not gonna be as interested. Whereas if you make a game that anyone can enjoy, it's a broader audience, and I say all of this simply because if they're gonna give Peach another game after a super long time, I want it to work. I want it to succeed. I want it to appeal to a very wide audience, and I want to see more Peach games going forward. I want to see more games from other Mario characters going forward, other spin-offs of other characters from other popular Nintendo series, you know what I mean? And if they do end up making it like a little bit too simple and just kind of kiddie, like making it a game that's mainly just for kids, then that's gonna feel like just such a missed opportunity, and also such a misjudgment of their audience. I love Peach. Everybody loves Peach. Lots of people love Peach, not just kids. Peach is a princess, sure, but like don't go the Disney princess angle with this. You know what I mean? Like that would really be misunderstanding what people like about her and about Mario in general. You know, it might be different when the game is on the shelf and it's Christmas time and little kids are looking up and seeing it. You know, maybe that'll be a thing. But at least at the moment, I'm pretty darn sure there are a lot more adults that are excited for this game and pre-ordering this game for themselves than there are kids asking their parents for it, at least at this time, because we're the ones who are watching the Nintendo Directs and stuff. It would just be frustrating if Nintendo was like, we gotta make a Peach game, but we think, I don't want to say think so little of Peach, but it is kind of like a, I don't know, it's a diminishing kind of perspective to be like, yeah, but if Peach gets a game, it's gotta be a simple little princess dress-up game, you know? It can't actually be like a real game. And again, I'm not saying necessarily that's what it's gonna end up being. I'm just slightly concerned that it might end up being that, and I hope that it's not that. All of this coming, again, from a 30-something-year-old man. I get it. I get it. Mostly excited, though. Mostly excited because the game looks really cool. It looks really cool, and I am really excited to play it. Peach is getting a game. She's finally getting another game. Finally! And if this appeals to enough people and it sells enough copies, does that mean there is something slightly more of a chance that we get a Zelda game? I don't know. Maybe not. But I gotta hope. Because I want a Zelda game, and I want it real bad. Zelda game, chic, maybe not chic, maybe just the Zelda, I don't know. But I want a Zelda game. Whatever it is that you feel about this topic, please let it be known to the world by putting words down in the comments, if you would. Are you excited to play Princess Peach Showtime? I would just love to know. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Also, Lon Ranch Farming Sim. I will never give up that idea. Where is the Lon Ranch Farming Sim? You play as Malin? Just come on. Just come on, Nintendo. Come on!